Hey Saints, welcome to the first official episode of the Shipp Show, brought to you by Student Athlete Advisory Committee President Justin Brewer, myself, and Maryville University President Dan Shipp. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to bring you all this podcast today, and I'm looking forward to exploring the bounds of athletics here on campus and seeing what we can do here. So the big theme of this first episode, right, is going to be to get to know Dan and to get to know athletics and to get to know this podcast. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce my co-host, President Dan Shipp. Hi, Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me. I think we should clarify one thing first.
Yes.
So the title that we came up with,
Yes.
we have to pronounce that correctly.
Correct.
Shipp Show.
Two P's.
Two P's.
No T.
No T's.
No
Okay,
T's.
that's our tagline,
Yes,
right?
yes. 2 P's, no T's.
So I love it. It's fun. I'm glad to be here with you.
And I'm happy you're joining me.
Yeah.
So why don't you start off, tell us a little bit about yourself so that the Maryville community can get to know who you are.
Yeah. So when I was your age, probably, Justin, I never thought about a career kind of in senior administration of a university. In fact, I may have known one or two like administrators back in the day, but basically I had relationships with my faculty and had some really good mentors along the way, right? We all do, right?
Yeah.
So you can probably think of some faculty here
For sure.
at Maryville that have really inspired you. And so I was kind of early in that, right? And had some really great experiences. I've worked a lot of places, right? Big places, small places, public, private universities, system level responsibility. So it's, tell you what, like not knowing where I was going to go way back then to have the privilege of serving students as a leader at a university, there is no better job. Like
Yeah.
I think you go around and on this campus, people say I have the best job, and it's not even close. So I definitely feel like I have the best job, and I'm really excited to get to know you and the student body and how we can make sure that you leave here prepared to go have a great personal and professional life.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're happy you're here. We love having
Great.
you here. So I guess it's only fair then that I take a second to introduce myself and kind of who I am
Tell
on this
me,
other
what's
side of
going
the
on
room
with
here.
you? How'd you get here?
So I'm a fourth-year communications major. I'm from the St. Louis area, and for those of you that are also from the St. Louis area, I'll answer the tried and true question of where you went to high school. The answer to that question is Francis Howell North. It's a small in comparison school in St. Peters, Missouri. So
I'm going to guess,
Yes.
though, that people may have heard of that. Ravenna, Nebraska, I'm guessing most people have not heard.
more than likely not. No,
Right,
I'd be
yeah.
willing to bet.
Yeah.
And so I got here. Both my parents are Maryville alums. It was the first school I ever toured, and I fell in love, and here I am. And then I got the wonderful opportunity to run on our track and cross country teams here at Maryville. It's been fantastic. It's been
Yeah, tell me about that. So,
Yeah.
like, are you like long distance or short distance?
unfortunately long distance.
Okay.
In the fall, I typically run the 8K and the 10K, which is about
Oh my
5
gosh.
and 6.5-ish miles. And then in the spring, I also run distance. I do the 5K on the track, which is 12.5 laps.
Yep, that's good.
And I do 3K steeplechase. And my one claim to fame, and then I hope to hold on to this at least until I graduate, is I am our school record holder in the steeplechase. So
Oh, I love it, right?
one and only
That is
self-flex.
great. Tell me about steeplechase, though. So that I love that, right?
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
when we say that, so I was a track guy, so
Yep.
I know what you're talking about, but that's it's a lot of running, and then
Yeah.
it seems like there's a big hurdle in water, and how does that work?
It's absolutely the most challenging and perhaps most like mentally taxing race and event I've ever done in my life. So it is a 3K. It's 7.5 laps. 200 meters are completely normal, and then you spend 7 laps going around 5 hurdles. There are 4 barriers placed essentially every 100 meters with 1 water pit.
Right.
And I have to essentially clear the water pit, which I'm usually pretty good at. I fell in one time, face planted directly into Missouri S&T steeple pit, and from that day forward, I have made it my goal and mission to never do that again.
As you're coming up to it, it's like, oh, please, oh, please.
I had just
I'm not
passed
gonna-
3 people. I felt so good, and I face planted. So now every time I get that feeling during a race, I'm like, let me tone it down a little bit. You'll have time. Get through
Take
the
a
water.
deep breath.
Yeah.
You know, I've always thought it might be more interesting to put like sharks and like and
Yeah.
snapping turtles in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And I think everybody would probably clear that without much problem.
Oh, without a doubt. No
I love that's a
problem.
tough race.
It
that,
is, it
we
is.
get to know a little bit about you by somebody who has the grit and determination for those types of longer races. That's props to you.
Thank you. And last big thing about me, I would say, is I have the fine opportunity of serving as the Maryville University Student Athlete Advisory Committee President, more commonly referred to as SAAC. Not the best acronym, but it's what we're working with.
We can improve that. That might be one of the first
it.
things that you do.
Perfect. Sounds good. And essentially, SAAC is a committee made up of student athletes. We're a representative body here on campus, representing students in the sense that everybody gets to come together and we are using our voice. So the wonderful thing about us at a D2 level is that student athletes actually have much more of a say in the way that athletics run, as opposed to something like a D1 level, in which it is a lot more or a lot less involvement from the student athletes. We have opportunities to have a say in things like legislation, and we make active decisions based on some of those things like that. And so I, with my fellow teammates, or one of my fellow teammates, who is my vice president, had the opportunity to head that up here at Maryville, and it's been a fantastic experience for the past 2 years, which is how it's brought us together. So,
well, thank you for stepping into a leadership role.
Absolutely.
So, right?
Yes.
Whether it's that or something else, it's easy to let others do.
Yeah.
And it's great to lean into it.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I'm sure you're learning about
Oh, yeah.
how to communicate and collaborate and probably have some rowdy conversations.
Yes.
So it's great, right? How
Yeah.
do we learn how to disagree or agree and have those conversations and not be disagreeable to each other?
Yeah, and it's 100% opened my eyes to a whole new side of athletics that you don't even think about. Like,
Right.
it really is such an all-encompassing. Yeah, like I can go out and run 7.5 laps, but what has made that happen? And so it's a chance to see the behind the scenes, and has crafted another passion of sorts for me. So
You know what I'm excited to do is too many times, and this goes to, I can speak to a lot of other student interests, but let's just talk about athletics. That too many times in my career, again at different roles that I've had, you'll see somebody like yourself who is graduating, and on your resume it will say student athlete, letter winner, these years.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I think, oh my gosh, think of all the things you learned, the skills that you developed as a result of running kind of personally, kind of your own personal development, but then working together on a team toward common goals, right?
Yep.
And so I really want us to focus on helping students make meaning of those experiences in a way that you don't leave with kind of sad bullets on your resume.
Absolutely.
That they're really alive, they're dynamic, they speak to your experience.
Yeah.
And I think we have a lot of work to do across all of student interest and involvement areas so that they really understand what you're learning in the classroom is amazing and great. We have outstanding faculty here. But all these out-of-class experiences, I don't want you to leave and just take for granted that you learned something. I want it to really connect to what you learned in the classroom.
Yeah, and it's great that you said that too, because it's a very good natural segue into kind of my next thing, which is what we will be talking about here, right?
Yeah.
What we're using this platform for. And I think, you brought up transferable skills, which I think is fabulous. I got told freshman year by one of my professors when I was making my resume for the very first time, or not making, remaking my resume.
Sure.
Absolutely put athletics on there. Athletics gives you things like teamwork, dealing with challenging people, endurance,
goals,
perseverance. Exactly. Right? And so there are so many extensions. Athletics does so much for you. And so I think one thing we will talk about is that, as well as sort of just what is the role of athletics in this community, and what is the role of athletics in people's lives, and what that kind of does, and how, like you said, right, it is more than just a sport, more than something you're just doing.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be good.
Yeah, for sure. I have a good friend who's a pediatric cardiologist.
Yeah.
And so I think a good metaphor for athletics, we've talked about this in the past, really is a heartbeat. In some ways, it's part of the heart. Spirit and tradition, excitement, energy for a campus community.
Absolutely.
And so I see that, right? I think that's always, I've had the real great opportunity to work with a lot of student athletes through the years. And in many cases, they can serve as really great role models for the value of being a good student, but also physically fit, right, and active, and involved, and engaged, and that creates kind of its own flywheel, I believe, for a campus community. So just try to imagine. I think the great way to think of it is just try to imagine the institution without our athletic programs.
Right. It's impossible.
Like, when I say that, you can almost feel that.
Yeah.
Like, imagine to not have that energy and
Right.
engagement
Yeah.
for our students. That would be just a giant miss.
Oh, yeah.
So I love it. I think that, this is, and again, I've worked at Division I, Division II levels, and the common thread that you would pull through is that real heartbeat for a campus.
Yeah, and Maryville is so unique in the sense that it is a small campus, but it's also so big in that we have a lot of a commuter population. We have a large online population. Our student athlete body is just under 700 student athletes if you include both or all 4 or 5 of our ice hockey teams. And so truly imagining a world without all 700 of those people is very, very challenging.
Right.
And so,
and even if those 700 came in other ways,
exactly.
What a miss, right?
Yep.
To have. I mean, at homecoming, right? It was fun to see so many of our students, our community partners, out at the different contests, and I think that again, that is it's a place to rally around, right? It's fun,
absolutely,
right? We still get to have fun, right?
Yeah.
So I think. That's really important to me, that it creates a really fun and healthy environment for a whole campus.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I have some questions, not in sort of interview.
Are you gonna pop quiz me?
I'm not gonna pop quiz you, but like we gotta have some conversation
here,
right?
Okay,
So it's gotta be, I gotta start somewhere.
Okay,
Gotta have some somewhere. And so you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'll ask, in your view, what is the single most important role that college athletics plays in fulfilling Maryville's academic mission?
Yeah. That's easy for me. So it's easy to think of a role like this that I get to serve in as an administrator.
Yeah.
But I would never describe myself that way. I would describe myself as an educator first. And so the value of an athletic experience is learning, right? You're learning about your limits.
Yep.
You're learning about how to work well with others. You're learning how to talk about challenges and admit when you need help. These are, sometimes you'll hear folks say you're learning soft skills, and that kind of I think really undervalues what we're talking about. It helps you develop, I would call them, essential human skills, that when your sport quits you at some point, right?
Yeah.
You'll translate what you learned on the track, around the field, on the ice, into a life where you're competitive for yourself and others, right?
Yeah.
And so I really think it comes down to learning.
Yeah.
And you developing into kind of your best self, right?
For sure. And I agree with you 100%. And my thing is always like, and I've preached this to some of my team as well, like at the end of the day, we are student athletes.
Yeah.
We're not athlete students. Like our goal here is learning and getting that degree and learning how to, be a functioning adult and human member of society. And so I think athletics plays a huge role in that, again, because it does kind of force you into a lot of uncomfortable situations and then makes you handle them super well. And so
totally agree. Yeah. And so you're right on it. That's a very evolved perspective. So I think when you're in the kind of the blast furnace of a competitive cycle, right, as a student athlete, you can lose sight of what it's all for.
Yeah.
Right. And the fun part for me is it's really all for you in building your better self.
Yeah. So looking ahead 5, maybe 10 years, what is your ultimate vision for our athletic programs, and how do you see college sports continuing to evolve here on campus, but also just in general?
Yeah, so this is interesting. I'm in month 3, right?
Yeah.
Or so. I kind of lose track. It's kind of like dog years,
yeah.
right? For me, I don't know if it's already been 7 years. I don't know. I am early into my learning phase, right?
Absolutely.
And I've tried really hard and will continue to really lean in and listen. So as you know, I want to meet with the whole student leadership group in athletics.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's a miss for me to come in and say, here's my vision, here's what it's going to be, without really understanding our campus and community, our culture.
For sure.
And so I don't want that to be opt out of the question. I just think it's almost irresponsible for me to come in this early and say, here's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be uninformed, right?
Yeah.
So of course, student learning and development, that's not going away. If anything, we need to, put the pedal down on a lot of that work so that, again, our student athletes, our students in general, are making meaning of their out-of-class experience. I think every university I've been at, can do a much better job at that. And so making sure that you're getting credit for those skills and that learning that takes place, even in a digitized world, is going to be really important to our future.
Absolutely, yeah.
What does the athletic enterprise footprint look like here in the future? That I don't know. Hockey is, we're diving into the initiative to be a Division I hockey program.
Yep.
That's not a cheap endeavor, and that's something that you really. What I want to make sure is anything we do, we're going to do it really well on behalf of our student athletes, on behalf of our coaches.
Yeah.
So we have some fundraising to do to kind of hit some of those targets. That was one of the first meetings I had when I got here in the summer, was to meet with the coach and the team, our business budget group, to say, how do we do this responsibly? How do we do it well?
Yeah.
And we really came up with those numbers. So we know what it takes now for capital improvements. We know what we'd need on an ongoing basis in athletics. So you don't create a situation where to do right by one program, we have to steal from the others, right?
Yeah.
So that, being responsible in how we think of the future, do we have the right number of teams? Do we have the right number of programs? Do we need to think differently about our size and scope? We sure should. Everybody should, and that should be a constant conversation.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, what do
I
you
like
think?
that. No, I agree. I absolutely like that approach, and I think I'm seeing it for myself as a student athlete, just like in my sport particularly, like athletics changes so much year to year, like just even sport to sport. Like for me, everybody's getting faster, which is great, except not for me because
I know, right?
I'm like stuck here and I'm like, oh no. But it is, refreshing to hear that sort of like, take it as it goes sort of thing, because it is an ever-evolving thing, and to have a plan for 10 years. If anything, over the course of the past 5 years since 2020 has taught us anything, it's that things change in an instant. And so I appreciate, and I think it's great to hear that kind of perspective. Yeah.
Let's be measured. Let's do it. These are the things that I learned when I was your age, right? It's like let's spend some time to do some homework.
Yeah.
Let's get a lot of brains around solving challenges, right? And coming up with direction.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, and I think for my role is kind of a cultural steward of ensuring that we're all thoughtful. We talked about it earlier, some of us, that we're kind, we're respectful of each other. We may disagree, but we can do it in a civil way. And we're also going to come forward with strategy that's informed by our students as our North Star. Yeah. That's, I think, the one consistent you'll find with me through my whole career, and however long Maryville will have me here, is it's always going to be students as our North Star. Yeah. How we spend our money, how we organize our teaching, learning, our curriculum, preparing you to go out and make the world better. That's job one for me. Awesome.
Well, then I'll go off my script a little bit here and ask, as a student and a student athlete, what's one burning question you would ask me right here? If you could ask anything, what would it be?
What I typically will ask students are, what are some pain points or pride points, right? Yeah. So it's okay. I think I'm a very open, transparent person. So I want to know are there things we can be doing better? What are some of those pain points for students, student athletes in particular, but you don't have to limit it to that. And then some pride points, like what are, you made the decision to come here. Probably didn't have a choice in your family, right? Because you had more saints in your family. But how does that feel to you? What are those things that I need to know from your experience? Yeah, no, I think, they always say to start, give you the bad news first. But, I'm okay with that. I won't talk, pain points. I think part of, from my personal perspective on things is we are growing from an athletic, like the athletic body is growing, and we don't always necessarily have the facilities to match that in terms of, I'll speak from my experience as a track team. Like we are a very large team, but we don't have some of the necessary facilities to, host a complete track meet or things of that nature. And so it makes it a little bit of a challenge. We're also dealing with some pretty strict town and country ordinances in terms of lighting and things of that nature. So things we can't necessarily do anything about. Oh, do we have to follow rules around here? I know. I got to follow rules. I didn't know about that. So I better Like I turn my radio up pretty loud outside too, so I'm gonna have to think about that, right? Okay,
Yeah, just keep that one in mind. Keep
good
that one
to
in
know.
mind.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it.
And so that's like one thing I've noticed just from my side of things in terms of a pain point, more so on a pride point. I think there, like I said, it's such a large student athlete body, and I think there are so many passionate people on this campus about their craft, and it you can see it, right? Like
Yeah.
we had very successful soccer teams and lacrosse teams and hockey teams and bowling teams and all of these teams last year. One of the events that SAAC helped put on last year is our annual awards night. We retitled it the Louis Awards Night last year, and it
Okay.
was this big production, and it was really cool. I admittedly went back and watched some of myself on the film the other day, but it is just a really cool opportunity to recognize like just all the really cool things that we do here.
Yep.
Like there is just genuinely so much good to come out of the athletics programs here, and we do a good job of recognizing it, but it's just like when it's all in one night, like it's really
Right.
it's awesome to see that kind of
Yep.
thing. And so I think
I like that. That's a
yeah.
really good idea to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're gonna
The Louis. That's
bigger
what we
and
call
better
them?
this year is the
Okay.
hope. So
Okay.
you have an invite, don't worry.
I know. I hope so. Right. That sounds fun to me.
Yeah. So that would for me is like especially in my position and in all of the things of my life, like I don't do things for my own sort of personal growth, my personal gain. Like if I put on an event and 40 people show up, like that's what makes me the happiest. And
That's
so
great.
doing the kind of things, setting the kind of initiatives forward
Yeah.
and seeing the athletes, grasp onto that for me is like a, wow, this is what we're here for kind of thing.
And I like what you said there is that kind of your motivation for things.
Yeah.
I always think about there's of course a continuum.
Yeah.
But on one end you can have mercenaries,
Mm-hmm.
kind of me over we.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side you have missionaries where it's we over me. And then sometimes, at different points in our life or different topics, you kind of fall in between. But what you just described is a care for others, and pushing yourself to the side to make life better for others. I love that. I think we might need a little bit more we over me.
Yeah, no, like I 100% agree. I was just talking about this the other day. Like I obviously get personal success from things, and I get a lot
Yeah,
of happiness
course.
from my own personal
Yep.
growth. But like my greatest sources of happiness and joy come from making other people happy and making other people doing things for other people that make them successful. Is where I
Well, think about there's this great TED Talk by Benjamin Zander. I'd recommend it to anybody. Those of you that have been around me know I show this kind of on a routine basis. But he describes he was a conductor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his power comes from making other people powerful, right?
Yeah.
And he has this philosophy around people's eyes. So he knows he's being effective when he can see other people's eyes shining.
Yeah.
Or right, the opposite of what are you doing where the people around you aren't feeling it, or their eyes are down, or they're not shining.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a simple leadership look for me. So I look at people's eyes, the folks that I can have a direct influence over.
Yeah.
I want to see them excited and happy, and that makes me like that's worth it all to me.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely. I 100% understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've actually done a really good job of answering everything I have written on here. So
Get out of here.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Like I had the notes. Ahead
I
of
know.
time. Right?
I will kind of last pinpoint question I'll ask is
Throw me a wild one, whatever you got.
what was your, in your short time at Maryville here, you've had a chance to, I'm sure, absorb a lot of information and see kind of what we are as a campus. But what was your initial allure? What was Maryville's for me? What was that for you?
Yeah, I loved, I think the easy answer from afar is a commitment to being kind of cutting edge with technology and pedagogy and amazing faculty. It really stands out. As I've landed, there's kind of these Easter egg surprises, right?
Yeah.
And I've been very impressed with our students. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
And the quality. I don't want to say over seriousness, but just I think the commitment to wanting to do well for yourself, but also others. What we talked about, I see that.
Yeah.
Like our MRO experience, right? Maryville reaches out.
Yep.
We take the whole day off, right, for the whole campus to go out into the community. And I think, if anything, we probably need to do that even more, right, as we move forward. But that says a lot about, I think, the quality of character of the institution. And one of the real Easter eggs that I found is I was able to talk to our sisters that are connected to the original Sacred Heart Order.
Yes, yep.
And, while we are a multi-faith institution today, I think if you really look at our history and who we were and who we are, the courage that it took the sisters back in the day to do so many things that made you and I sitting here today possible.
Yeah.
Just to have a chance to reconnect with them. And really, I think my role and responsibility as we move forward is to pull that heart and our history into who we are today and how we set ourselves up to do more for the world around us. And I've even said, like, who puts more saints into the world than we do? Nobody. Wow. Who puts the saints in St. Louis? We do.
I had never thought about that.
Isn't that wild? It's like
crazy.
Right in front.
It was right there. How did nobody pick up on that?
And what a great mission. So
yeah, absolutely.
I really like pulling the heart of our history into our future.
And I appreciate that as well. I mean, you can even see bits and pieces of our history, just even like the on-campus environment is really cool to see those some of the things. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't want to forget that. We wouldn't be here without those courageous sisters.
Right, exactly. Our roots are what grounded us. So that's how we got here.
Yep.
Well, I have one more question for you. It's a hard hitter.
Okay.
If you were a brick, what would you want to be thrown through, Dan?
If I was a brick, what would I? So I could give you a maybe a cheesy answer.
Okay.
I would use a brick to build a foundation for a
That's
future
not cheesy.
for you.
I like that.
I believe that. I'm probably not a brick thrower. I'm a builder, right?
Yeah.
I would. If I really had to smash something with a brick, it would probably be a cell phone.
Oh yeah.
And
I agree.
The reason why, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not against communication, right? But I just think that a lot of what ails us in society can be traced back. I'm not the first person, obviously, to recognize this, of how much time we spend with our head down in our phones and how that has begun to dwarf the time that you and I get to spend talking about life and what we can do together outside in the real world. And really the algorithms of a lot of those companies have us set against each other. So if I could change one thing, I would want to change that invention in a way that would be more positive, more forward focused, that breathes oxygen into people and doesn't steal it away.
I like it.
So yeah, great question. Yeah.
Thank you.
What about you? Smash.
Well, see,
Smash
here's
away
the
with
thing.
the brick. What would you
sounded
say?
very insightful. I'm going to sound really dumb because
No, you won't.
my favorite answer in high school, I used to add, this has been my favorite icebreaker since like sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
One person told me Jell-O, and I was like, you know what? I agree. Watching a brick get thrown through Jell-O would be fantastic.
In slow motion. It might be satisfying.
Yes, yeah. Although I will say, as of more lately, I think my brick would probably be thrown through my MacBook screen because at this point in time,
yeah,
I'm getting to that point in the semester, but
a lot of homework,
just a little bit, but it's all right. It's okay.
Should we tell the faculty back it down a little bit?
That would be
make
really
it a
great.
little bit easier.
Talking to you
I don't
guys,
know, right? Can I put out some homework to faculty? Come on, go
homework
easy.
is to minimize homework.
Go easy on our students. Right?
I would greatly appreciate it as a student.
Okay, well, you let me know. Great appeals come to me. Right?
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Right,
Thank
I better
you.
not say that. I'll get in trouble, right? Okay, well, good. Well, thanks, Justin.
Yes. Well, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Love it. First episode of the
episode
Shipp
down.
Show, the Maiden Voyage.
The Maiden Voyage, yeah. Thanks for coming along on this first installment. We'll see you at the next one.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate
thank you.
it. Thank
Okay.
you. Peace out, Saints.
Right on. That was fun. Good job, buddy, right?
Thank
Justin?
you.